Hi everyone, I'm Rad, and today I'll be taking you around our exhibition titled Radical Curiosity in the Orbit of Buckminster Fuller. This exhibition was curated by Rosa Pera and Jose Luis de Vicente. It invites us to explore some of Mr. Fuller's brilliant ideas and inventions that some of us may be familiar with today. Richard Buckminster Fuller was a well-known 20th century inventor and a visionary born in Milton, Massachusetts on July 12, 1895. It has always been a mission of his to dedicate his life into looking for solutions to make the world work 100% for humanity. Without limiting himself to working only in a specific field, he used the intersection of design and science as a form of problem solving. Mr. Fuller defined himself as a comprehensive, anticipatory design scientist who was able to foresee situations based on his comprehensive knowledge of the universe. In this chapter, Design Revolution, you will be able to witness the early projects of Mr. Fuller, focusing on how we move from place to place and still remain sheltered. This leads to the invention of the Dymaxion car, which highlights the contemporary approach of biomimetic design. The Dymaxion car was a three-wheeled streamlined automobile that was 20 feet long, capable of carrying up to 11 passengers. Manipulating the form and navigation system of a fish, Mr. Fuller placed the direction control of the Dymaxion car on the rear flap, emulating the hind flippers of a fish. Tensegrity was a concept that arose from the combination of words tension and integrity, or tensional integrity. It consists of the suspension of rigid elements in space solely through continuous tension and discontinuous compression. Mr. Fuller was the first person to use the word, but not the first who applied the concept. A concept that has since been applied on numerous occasions in the world of architecture, as one of the main characteristics of the system is that light structures can be created at low cost. The concept Tensegrity is demonstrated in three unusual structures, erected in the Museum of Modern Art Garden for an exhibition by Mr. Fuller in 1959. The purpose of the exhibition is to illustrate an extraordinary strength and lightness of Mr. Fuller's method of construction, which utilizes the forces of tension and compression in an unconventional way, and which we can see in the appearance and character of our modern buildings. The Octave Truss is assembled by connecting 2,380 aluminum tubes made up of tetrahedrons and octahedrons. This structure is 30 meters tall, 10 meters wide, and 7 meters above ground. The dome, a 40-meter tall, composed entirely of triangular and diamond-shaped plastic pans bolted together on site with no other frame or support. An iconic idea that has symbolized for decades now would be the Jurassic Dome, a product of Fuller's experiments with tensegrity and his obsessive study of the rules of geometry. In this chapter, we will be looking at various models of geodesic domes that were built in different parts of the world and may be familiar to some of us. The strength of a geodesic dome based on geodesic lines is greater than that of its separate element, hence making it able to support itself without the need for foundations. This allows the structure to also have the greatest surface area that can be covered using the least amount of materials. One of the most spectacular domes by Mr. Fuller would be the Biosphere, which was commissioned by the United States government to function as America's pavilion for the 1967 World's Fair. With a diameter of 76 meters and a height of 62 meters, the volume contained within the structure is spacious enough to fit a 7-story exhibition building. The building is now converted into a museum dedicated to the links between society and the environment. Mr. Fuller was convinced that the swiftest way to change society was through the reinvention of housing. In this chapter, we will be looking at how Mr. Fuller has reconstructed the concept of houses. The focus for Mr. Fuller when designing a residential house was to consider how the structure should be mobile, light, affordable, and include self-sufficient features that would meet the basic needs of humans. This led to the invention of the 4D Lightful Tower, which was built as a solution for better living conditions. He wanted to create a house suitable for mass production and with an accessible price for the majority of people. The 4D Tower was a 12-story hexagonal building made of plastic. The central mass of the building serves as the backbone of the structure. It is also where services such as drinking water, electricity, sewer were incorporated. With the advancement of technology, Mr. Fuller's projects became more speculative, changing the scale of his works from personal to a city level. Dome over Manhattan, a widely reproduced image for an exhibition at MoMA, in which he covered Manhattan with a huge dome that could regulate the whole city's climatic conditions. These ideas were left as speculations, but have made architects now look back and take reference as an influence of their designs, which would tackle environmental issues we face now. Mr. Fuller felt that the source of many of our problems lie in our inability to detect patterns of activity in society, the economy, and the way the global system works. Using the mechanics of games to tackle complex problems, Mr. Fuller proposed the world game, transforming the world into a huge board game, a simulation in which people fight for peace instead of war, a game which seeks to ensure that the world's nations create a future based on consensus without prejudice to any other nation. Fuller explored many ideas and developed them into theories and experiments that had a massive reach over his life, making himself one of the most self-documented individuals. The Dymaxion Chronophile is a collection of archives of personal documents he obtained, such as letters that were sent and received, handwritten notes, drawings and plans, newspaper cuttings, brochures, travel tickets, medical prescription, and correspondence from his lawyer. The Chronophile is a recording of his daily activities every 15 minutes between 1920 to 1983, making a total of 145,000 documents. To enhance your exhibition experience, start your scrapbooking journey with Art Science Museum's personal Chronophile, which took inspiration from Mr. Fuller's Dymaxion Chronophile. Complete tasks, jot down thoughts, and gather new information and inspiration as you journey through the exhibition. You may choose to continue with your journey by collecting and adding more into your own personal Chronophile after the visit. Who knows? These items could be a useful reference in the future. Thank you for joining me on this tour, and I hope to see you soon at Art Science Museum. Bye!